Hey y'all, it's Peggy out here at Madison Creek Farms, and it is a beautiful, gorgeous fall morning here on the farm, and I am going to harvest up a mess of turnip greens. Our CSA shareholders went home this weekend with a whole mess of turnip greens, so I thought I'd do a little recipe and show you guys how to make southern turnip greens. There's just nothing like it, especially this morning that we've had this beautiful fall morning. I want you to take a look at these turnip greens that I'm going to be harvesting a little later. These are gorgeous and they're so perfect. They are ready to go. So I'm going to show you how to cook up this wonderful mess of green. That we've harvested these beautiful turnip greens, it's time to give them a wash. And that is one of the main things that you have to do with turnip greens. And even though our turnip greens are local here in Middle Tennessee, so we don't have a really sandy kind of soil, but most turnip greens, or a lot of turnip greens, come from places like Georgia and Florida. Places like that where they do have a sandier soil, so you really need to give them a good wash. What you want to do is, while you're washing them, is you want to strip these stems, because here are the big long stems and you don't really need those. So you want to take it and just turn it upside down and run your finger down the stem like that and just toss it and just work pulling them off. That's all you have to do. Just keeping these stems to the side. And once we get all these stems removed, then we can just chop them up bite-sized pieces. Give them a spin in your salad spinner, which is really important to get them nice and dry. And then we're done with all the washing. So let's get these washed up, get them prepped and ready to cook. So today I'm going to show you guys how to make a mess of greens. Turnip greens, that is. So turnip greens are a cool season plant. They really love these really cool mornings and these cool evenings, and they really get sweeter when they've got a little bit of frost on them. So right now is perfect turnip green weather, and our CSA shareholders took their farm box home this weekend and they had a whole bunch of turnip greens. So today I thought I would show you how to make some turnip greens. Now the thing with turnip greens is to make sure that they're nice and washed well, because turnip greens tend to hold a little bit of dirt. Now we don't have really sandy soil here like Georgia or some of the South Florida, those kind of states. So they don't get as sandy, but you really want to give them a good wash and then just take them right off the stem. You don't want these big stems in your turnip greens. Just like this, just rip them right off. And then what you're going to do is we're just going to knock them down to bite-sized pieces when we get all the leaves off of them. There's nothing better than a fresh bunch of turnip greens. They are kind of a real southern staple, but I will tell you, the turnip greens are not just any green. They are so nutrient dense. They have a lot of vitamin A, vitamin C, and vitamin K. So they pack a real power punch, and they also are high in iron and calcium. And not only that, turnip greens also is high in magnesium, and magnesium actually helps you uptake potassium. So especially like bananas and those things. So if you're low in potassium, magnesium allows you to your body to take it in, to absorb it. So turnip greens are great for that. So it's a highly nutrient dense vegetable. The first thing I want to do though to these turnip greens is I want to prep this smoked turkey wing. And this, I've just taken the drumstick off the turkey wing. Yes, this is the drumstick from the turkey wing, and I'm just going to prep it. So all I'm going to do is just cut some whole, it's kind of just run my knife along this bone just to kind of get that meat, because it will fall off the bone that way. Just kind of making slices through this meat right to the bone and just kind of prepping it so it will come off this bone much easier. Then I'm just going to add a little bit of olive oil into my little Dutch oven. So my Dutch oven, one of the things I really love Dutch oven this time of year for soups and for turnip greens and mustard greens and collard greens and all of those kind of greens. So I talk about this Dutch oven a lot in my little guide that I put together, and it's my top 6 essential tools. And this little Dutch oven is one of the things that I could not live without. It's just one of my favorite tools to work with. Now that I've got this oil heated up, I'm just going to throw this turkey leg right in this oil. And all it's going to do is flavor this oil up. Hear that sizzle? Yep. That's a ticket. Now while that is browning that turkey wing, turkey drumstick off the wing, this huge thing, I am going to go ahead and start cutting up my aromatics. So I'm going to use this onion. I'm probably only going to use half of this onion. So I'm just going to give it a slice, a dice. So there's so many recipes for cooking a mess of greens. You almost need to talk to a good Southerner to really cook a good mess of greens. This is kind of like a staple in our diet here in the fall. We eat a lot of turnip greens, mustard greens, and collard greens. And there's a lot of people that won't mix their greens. I do. I'll throw them all in there together, and you know, because it does. But there's some people that don't. That, I mean, it's almost sacrilegious. You can't mix them. Yeah, you can. So I'm just getting this onion kind of browned off with this turkey wing, and then that's all I'm going to use. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this little pepper that was a pepper that we didn't put in our CSA basket because it had a little spot on it, a little bad spot. It doesn't bother me. I just cut around it, and I'm just going to dice up this pepper. And what this sweet pepper is going to do, this is a sweet bell pepper. It's going to add a lot of color to my turnip greens because it's orange, so it's really pretty. But it's also going to sweeten up those turnip greens. So I'm just going to dice these up and add that in with my wing and my onions. Just like that. Beautiful. Little stir. Get everything cooking good. It is the first morning that we have had cool temperatures. I mean, it has been the hottest fall. So I am so happy that to get a morning here on the farm that is below 80 degrees. So, and this morning I woke up and it was in the low 60s, and it had been raining. We haven't had any rain in a long time either, so it was absolutely perfect weather. So I'm just going to take out some of this garlic. So this little garlic is a little hard-neck garlic. So it likes to be really tight in its skin. So you got to give it a little pop when you take this out. So just take your knife and just slap your hand down on it, and it will come out of the skin, which is, you don't need it, so we don't want it. Perfect. And one of the things with turnip greens is that it's a real mild green. So mustard greens can have a little bit of a kick to it. Turnip greens are this really mild green, but they're actually a root vegetable. So, and these turnip greens left in the ground will make turnips. And a lot of people love to cut up turnips and put it in their turnip greens, and so do I too. It's just, right now, the greens are just so beautiful. So always at least cook the greens without the turnips at least 2 or 3 times in a season until those turnips start coming on. And then my last couple of times that I'll cook turnip greens, I'll add those turnips, and the turnips will last for a long time in storage, just like kind of a potato. They really last a long time, which is great when you're you know, storing for the winter. So now that I have this going on in here, so I have my peppers and my onions with this beautiful turkey leg going, I'm going to start working on my greens. I'm going to move my cutting board out of the way, this one, because I don't need it any longer. There's some garlic on my knife. So I showed you how to wash these greens and how to get them ready. So all I do once I have these greens out is either I tear them or I just chop them. And so I kind of roll them up a little bit and just give them a chop. Try to get them down to bite-sized pieces because they are going to wilt down, and just throw them right in. And they're going to wilt down in this pan. And you want to do it, I like to do it anyway, in batches. So, and this is kind of a little Dutch oven here that I've got going on. So, and like I said, you want to do this kind of in batches because let me show you why. To this, I'm going to add some salt to that batch. A little bit of pepper. And I'm going to add a little bit of agave to sweeten it up, just a little bit. Now, I normally would use just plain old sugar, but my son is on keto, so can't really have it. And so we just been really watching. This is a little bit of garlic powder, onion powder, and then this is a paleo powder, and it's a pink powder. It's pink Himalayan salt. And I'm just going to add, and it has a lot of these different herbs in it, and I'll leave a link to where I get this. This is really, my little niece Emmy turned me on to it a few weeks ago, and I've been using it and love it. So it's really kind of got this really nice seasoning to it. So now that's wilted down, now you start adding more greens. And you just keep going batch by batch by batch until they wilt down, and then you can add some more until you get all of your turnip greens into your pot. That's your mess of greens. All right, same thing. Pepper, salt, a little agave, onion powder, garlic powder, and a little paleo powder. It's already smelling good. Just gonna mix those up and get those wilting down. You may want to add a little bit more oil to your pan if it starts looking like it needs it. Like mine, just a little bit. Because this smoked turkey, even though it's kind of got a lot of fat on the outside, doesn't render a whole lot of fat. So, my next batch going in. Like that. I think I can get a go ahead and finish this off. Perfecto. My favorite time of the year. My favorite time to cook of the year because of all of these greens. It's like comfort food. They're just, I mean, turnip greens and cornbread. It's kind of what I grew up on living here in the South. And it's like going home. Perfect. All right. So, to that batch, salt, pepper, little onion salt, that actually onion powder, garlic powder. Yeah, I like a lot of garlic. My husband is Italian. He'd just eat garlic straight. Now that I have this one done, I'm going to add just a few pepper flakes. And actually, you can put these pepper flakes, because I forgot, you can put these pepper flakes in when you put that turkey leg in with that oil, and it will flavor up that oil. Now, to make greens really, really good, you need some vinegar. This is just apple cider vinegar. You won't taste the vinegar, and I'm going to add 4 capfuls here. What this vinegar is going to do is going to sweeten it up, this apple cider vinegar. It's going to sweeten up these greens, but it's going to cut through some of that texture. And it's really, really going to make these greens very delicious. So, now that I have these greens cooking, I'm going to go in with some chicken stock. And what I'm going to do is pour this chicken stock this is probably about 2.5 cups. So I've added probably 1.5 cups here of chicken stock, and I'll probably add some more here in just a little bit. But I'm just kind of covering these greens up, and then I'm going to bring this to a simmer. So I'll put my lid back on and bring this up to a simmer. Now, these greens take about 45 minutes to an hour to cook, and I keep them kind of at a slow simmer. So you want to check them and make sure that that liquid is still there. So I'm just going to let these simmer for about 45 minutes to an hour, and then we'll come back and I want to show you how delicious these greens are. So, all right, I'm going to let this simmer. You guys stay with me to the end because this is just such a beautiful little recipe. Now, I have a ton of other little videos that are up. So I have one on Swiss chard if you're looking for those fall greens. So check that one out, and you've got to check out my apple skillet cake, caramel apple skillet cake. Yum. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's fall. Enjoy it. Okay, so now our turnip greens are done. They have been cooking for about 1 hour and 20 minutes. It's just on a slow, low simmer, and oh, they're so beautiful. These will be great with some cornbread tonight for dinner. Yeah, this is just wonderful. So, what I want to do though is I want to remove that bone out of here, make sure all the meat's off of it. So this is what happens. So here's the bone. This is the bone. So all the meat has fallen off the bone. Yeah, that's some good stuff right there. So I just take that out and set that aside because Echo, who's right here, is drooling right now over this bone. So I'm going to go ahead and take that out, and then I'm going to go ahead and plate this up, get it in a bowl. My goodness. So these greens have cooked down beautiful. All of that smoked turkey The meat is in there. I mean, talk about a one pot or one Dutch oven dish here. This is just incredible. Beautiful, beautiful. So I'm going to set this back here. Bring this over. So, yeah, turnip greens at their very, very finest. I can't stop eating them. They're nice and smoky. I'm going to have to get a little bite out for myself here, like I haven't already had one. They're really nice and smoky from that turkey, that smoked turkey. Just delicious. That apple cider vinegar, what it does is it really brightens up the flavors of these greens. I would put these turnip greens up against anybody's turnip greens any day. This is like happy fall, y'all. This is heaven. They are absolutely delicious, absolutely. And right now, this beautiful fall season, now is the season for turnip greens. You're going to find them at your local farmer's market, through your local CSA, through your farm box. And if you don't belong to a CSA, find your local farmer, your local organic farmer. They're in your community, and they would love for you to talk to them about the things that they grow, because as a farmer, we're so passionate about feeding you, our local neighbors, the people that live right around our farms, and we grow cultivars that are meant to be eaten local. And that's when you come up with these kind of incredibly fresh, absolutely delicious recipes, because you're using the best ingredients and the most fresh ingredients you can get. So anyway, that's it for me, and I'm going to go ahead and take my turnip greens and head back into the kitchen and whip up some cornbread, and dinner is on. So thank you guys. Y'all have a great day.